Hello and welcome to Buckinghamshire's Local Heritage List platform. This tutorial is meant to introduce you to the process of nominating a site to be considered for inclusion in the local list, and also just to give you a short whistle-stop tour of the website. My name's Jo Horton. I'm one of the heritage team, and we would just love to have your contributions to this project. So with no further ado, I will share my screen. Presumably, if you've found this video already, you're already familiar a little bit with the site, but just to show you around, the very first thing you need to know is that where my name is here, we'll show you register. There'll be a button where you can register as a user of the site, and you will be able to then log on once you've registered and confirmed your email address. You'll be able to log on to the site, and then you'll be able to see all of the nominated assets that we have. There's probably not a lot to see on the map until you have registered, because nothing has been formally adopted yet. There are two ways, so here we go. Before we talk about how to nominate, I just want to whiz you around the guidance. So under guidance, you've got some explanations of the project and what's special about Buckinghamshire. You've got details of how we're assessing the nominated assets and some other information. There's also information here about how you would nominate a site. Now, this is probably where you found this video, but also ways that you can volunteer beyond nominating, and some training resources for our volunteers as well. You can nominate an asset through list, although it's probably not the most straightforward way, and you would do that by adding a new asset. But this list shows you roughly, well, there are a lot. There are nearly 2,000 sites on there at the moment. Most of them have been created by an unknown user. This is the council. We've sent information across from our historic environment record. But if you nominate a site, or if I nominate a site, our website usernames will be in here. If you prefer to use an anonymous one, you can be Mickey Mouse if you wish. The best way to nominate a site is through mapping. Now, when you open the map, you'll see a bold yellow boundary here, which is the area in Buckinghamshire that's covered by the local list, and you can't nominate a site outside of this area. All of these little green icons are nominated sites, and before we delve into this, I will just show you some of the mapping functions that we have here. We can search for a particular location and it will zoom us in on the map. We can select only, if I just unclick some of these, if I just want to see parks and gardens that have been nominated, I can get rid of all the others. So this is the local heritage list items, or the nominated local heritage list items, but for now we're going to put them all back in. The other thing we can do is look at nationally listed sites and buildings. So I can include all nationally listed buildings into the map, and all of a sudden we'll see an ocean of blue triangles. So let's zoom in. There are a few more functions I'd like to show you. Let's zoom in to Thornborough. And we'll be able to see some of these icons a little bit more clearly. I will zoom in a little bit more. And again. So we can see here that there are two sites that have been nominated for the local list. One is the old schoolhouse here, and this one is an archaeological feature on the village green. There are also a number of listed buildings. This is the church and the manor, all depicted by the blue triangles. So we can see those really, really clearly. Now, the map has got some other options that we can look at. We can look at the area we're interested in an aerial view and see exactly the same things. Or we can choose to look at some historic mapping. So, unfortunately, the historic mapping doesn't go back any further than 1900s on the website. But we can talk about that a little bit more in a second. So I'm going back to Ordnance Survey. The assets that I'm interested in at the moment is this pump here, the village pump. Now, if I look at the historic mapping, I'll take you back to it in a second. It's helpful to know whether that was still there, and there's another one over here, whether they were both still there in 1900. It gives us an indication of how old they might be. Now we can just see two dots here and here on the map, which aren't desperately clear, but which we think are probably the pumps that we're looking at. Now, I know because I've done a little bit more research through the Thornborough Parish website, and I've been able to look at some 1881 mapping, that these are in fact the features we're looking at. So there's a W there and another one here for indicating that there were water pumps in these locations in 1881. So going back to our Ordnance Survey, I now need to create an asset. So the natural thing that I want to do is get hold of this crosshair and drag it onto my asset. Now it doesn't quite work that way. We need to drag the map onto the crosshair rather than the other way around. So I'm getting hold of the map and slowly moving it into the center of the crosshair or thereabouts. And then I can click OK. Takes us to the next page with a little bit of explanatory text, but we're going to zoom along. Now, if you go to nominate an asset through list, this is the page it will take you to, and the mapping can be take a little bit of time to clear up and to engage, but it is much clearer to do it through the big map function. If you are standing outside a building and you want to use your current location to help you zoom in on a map, you can do this here, and you can do it from the map by using this blue button here, and it will take you to where you are. Now, one of the helpful things about this is that you can identify your site, get it on the website, and then you can fill in the details at home. But you can log it on the website this way and then fill out the rest of the form later. So we're going to create a name for our asset. Make sure we call it a water pump. Great. Now, asset type, this can be a little bit confusing, but there is some help here for you to help identify whether it's a building, a park or garden, landmark, or other site. Now, other sites are generally archaeological features, so most other standing forms that don't fall into parks and gardens or buildings will come under landscape landmarks, but you can find out even more, and it will help you to determine which category the asset you're looking at needs to fall into. In this case, we are going to go for a landmark or wayfinder. Now, because we know that there are two water pumps in the village of Thornborough, we need to be quite careful about how we describe its location. So it is High Street, there we go. And because we've already located it on the map with our crosshairs, it's automatically filled in the OS grid reference for us, which is brilliant. So next page. So this asks us for a brief summary description of the asset that we are looking at. So it's a village water pump. I'm not sure we need to say too much more about it at this stage. If it were a building, you might want to identify here whether it's a commercial building or an industrial building or a house or public building. Any information that you can put in there to provide an accurate description would be useful. So again, here we have asset type. We are just going to say it's a water pump. These categories, if it doesn't apply, we won't input anything. But here where we've got age, we know that the water pump evident on this site on historic mapping. However, a plaque, water pump, identifies it as a replica installed in 1988. Gift from, and I must get this right or I'll be shot, the Thornborough and Thornton Gardening Society. We can fill that in later. Now we know it's not desperately rare because there are 2 of them in the village. Its architectural and artistic interest might be around its materials, so it's cast iron with decorative detailing. Surrounding the fence. Okay, it probably doesn't have group value particularly, but it will have historic interest as communal value, as a place of meeting where the village used to go to collect water. And probably doesn't have archaeological interest, but we have said that it's got some measure of landmark status. It's in a prominent location, and locals may be able to add a bit more information to this than I can at the moment, and hopefully they will. So for now, let's move on. We can put more information in this. We can come back and review this later, but we'll move on to the next page. And this asks us to add a photograph if we've got them. Now, it's really important that you have ownership of the photograph or permission of the person who does to use it. And there will be somewhere where you have to agree to share those rights with the council because they will be going online. So here we go. I'm going to add a photograph. Now then, here we go. So there's a photograph of the pump. Here we go. Now I have to accept the terms and conditions for the file upload, and then I need to upload it. Now, if I've picked the wrong photograph, before I upload it, I can just click add photo again and change it. So there's no panic if you've uploaded the wrong thing and you've uploaded a picture of your dog instead. You can change that straight away the minute you see the image. So I'm going to upload that now. It'll take a minute. And I can choose to add another photograph if I want to. We won't do that at this point. So next page. It's going to ask me if I'm recording on behalf of somebody else, which I'm not. I'm doing it for myself. So I'm going to now effectively say that I've put as much information into this asset as I can at the moment. So I'm going to exit the wizard. Now, at this point, I am the only person that can see this entry until it's been submitted for review. So what you can do is you can wander around your village and you can input a number of assets that you would like to be considered, and you can further edit them when you get home, so long as you don't submit for review. However, if you haven't submitted them for review, it means that we can't see them, so we can't assess them. So this is a really important part of the process. I can go back now and edit the details if I want to. So it takes me back, it shows me the pin on the map, and it shows me through all the bits that I've done already. And I can put some more information on there if I wish to. And save it, or I could add in a lot more information like we had here about who nominated it. So I'm happy at the moment for the purposes of this exercise that we've done what we need to. So now I'm going to submit it for review. You probably won't see this box. This is because I have got some additional rights on the website than you will have. So hopefully just submitting for review will then mean, if we go back to the map, there we go, that we have included an asset on the map. Job done. So we will pick that up as the council. We'll pick that up and we'll confirm that we're happy for that to be considered, and we will change the status of it to a candidate work in progress, and other people will be able to come into the website and they'll be able to comment on it. So if we look at this one, for instance, I can go into this, I can select the old schoolhouse and look at the information that's been put on the website there. And I can add a comment. And I can say, I like this building. And I can post it. Or I can add some more historical information that hasn't been included in the description above, if I'm aware of more information. So that's a really useful tool. I am going to take that out just for now. But you can comment and let it be known what you think. So there we go, nominating an asset, we've done it. Now, actually, that's not directly over the village pump, is it? It's probably close enough for these purposes. But if I want to go into it and move it a little bit closer to the dot, I can do that in the same way that we look to make comments. I can go in and edit details. Next page, and I can go into the map. Now I'll need to zoom in a lot more to be able to see more clearly where I'm going to put my point. And it's very difficult, isn't it, to see on this, but I could just click in a new place and then exit wizard. And it will move it. Hopefully a little bit closer. No, just a little bit further to the side, but for these purposes, it's great. We can see exactly where it is. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video. And we hope you have fun nominating the sites in your location and learning about where you live. We look forward to receiving your nominations. Bye.